He's got 23,000. He's got 74% of the vote.
There's no way he's going to lose.
Okay, but
we are live.
Election result. Okay, but
we are live.
No, it's them.
No.
No, I had to turn off my sound for my video.
I think he has more votes now than everybody voted in the primary in the primary.
Well, the primary only like 3,600 people voted.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, it was horrible. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is the BreakAway Homestead. We are here live tonight, Tuesday, 6th November, election night.
Doc is in the house.
What is that noise?
Hi, Doc.
But guess who else is here?
Whoop, whoop, what up?
Robyn and Jason for the Big Bear Homestead. We decided we were going to come out tonight.
Acting like I got cooties.
You do got cooties. Stop.
I told you it was going to be a lot of hitting. I told you it was going to be a lot of hitting. I'm trying to figure out my things here so I don't have to.
Hey, you can't grab your things on live stream.
No.
She laughed.
But can I?
No.
Can I?
Hey, that's your business. I do have an announcement to make, though, when everybody gets in here.
You're pregnant.
Oh, Lord.
Like, oh, she's giggling and you're just not saying anything.
The only thing that I keep hearing is with the baby elephant. Just so totally
Baby elephant. I'm trying to figure out how to fix this camera so it just comes on to the people who are talking instead of having to point it to exactly who's on what.
Who's doing it first?
It was doing it before, but then when I clicked on him, it stopped.
You just had to touch it.
How is it going to grow?
Down arrow.
What's the down arrow say?
No, I don't know. But
check.
When they talk, it flips.
You guys say something.
What? We're making. Moment you said we couldn't come in here, you started making out.
Not really.
We're wild and crazy young kids.
Careful that the camera is right there. See that cord?
Yes, I see it, honey. I'm trying to get to the chat.
Just making sure.
You have it up on here?
He's in charge of the
It's right there.
Then we need to
Why do we have to switch?
Because you suck at chat.
I do suck at chat.
Whole bottle.
You're drinking red wine.
Lambrusco.
Ah.
A very large glass of Lambrusco.
I see that. Very large bottle.
We get it at Aldi's and it's like $6 and he is in love. Like every time we go, we have to get bottles so that we have bottles at the house. So he's prepared.
It's for company.
It's for companies. Patrick's
You need to fix your camera because you only see like half her face.
Well,
now you're only going to see half of Pat's face.
Well, that's a blessing.
Yeah, that's what I sit in it every time.
Yeah, I offered my seat up last time. It was your show.
This is true.
It was, and I rocked it.
So okay, how many people got in? 14 people watching. That's not bad. So how was you guys this week?
It was okay. I finally got a deer to show up on my trail camera. We were kind of excited about that this morning. Probably a possible 8 point.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nothing new on.
It's got a small body.
Yeah, there's a little 6 point, but nothing huge. But I got bad news. Whoa.
You're not coming in December.
We lost our bees. Oh. So we had wax moths come in on one frame.
Yep.
We didn't pay attention to it at all. And they moved out. I mean, they took everything and moved out.
Yep. They'll do that.
But it's not a complete loss. At least they didn't just die out.
Yeah, we thought they had died.
They got up and moved out.
And they absconded. Okay.
And as I got into the hive, there were like 1 or 2 bees left. I was like, yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, they will just when they know they are not strong enough, they'll take off and leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they took everything. They took all the honey. They took all the everything. I had a pollen patty in there. They ate the crap out of that. That's gone too. And yeah.
Sounds like they might have been.
It was a weak colony. It really was.
It sounded like it had to be a weak colony because if they were eaten up and there wasn't honey left behind.
You probably would have lost them this winter anyway.
Most likely.
Well, good news for you is in the next week or so, maybe 2. I might need 2 weeks. Depends on how much deer hunting I do. I'm going to be doing a video on how to make swarm traps. And you can literally, I went out and bought 2 pieces of just regular 4x8 sheet plywood.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be able to make 15 swarm traps out of that.
Goodness.
As long as I don't mess up the cuts.
Now, Robyn, are you going to be using the essential oils in that?
Yeah, we're gonna try it just to see because there's so many people that swear by it, but the only time we've ever used them, it didn't help as an attractant. So we're gonna see. You'll see how it works.
Yeah. So
cool.
We're going to either prove the theory or debunk it. One or the
What are you putting in it?
What?
What are you putting in it?
Lemongrass.
Lemongrass. That's what everybody swears by is lemongrass.
Yeah. So, but again, the only time we had one swarm that we caught and put in a hive. And we had the lemongrass in there, and within hours they took off.
It was too much, or maybe take it away and use it as an attractant. But once it's there, they don't want it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But we're gonna play around with it and see. And then there's a couple of other oils that I've heard of that are good for attractant. So we're gonna kind of play around with that. And we've got a lot of essential oil playing around. We're gonna do this winter. So hopefully we'll have some good stuff coming out.
What are you doing?
Being stupid.
With a delay. Watch what he does.
She's getting the playback.
Oh yeah. The only because you got the delay, you got the live feed, and then you got the delay.
Mm-hmm.
You can see here I'm wearing my BreakAway Homesteader T-shirt.
And I'm wearing my Big Bear Homestead T-shirt.
Pat, is it cold at your house?
No, always like that.
So
you need to put your I voted sticker over that thing, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna take somebody's eye out.
So back in the day, I might have had some hardware attached to these things. May not have gone down since.
I would have never figured you for that, though.
Is the chat moving?
No.
Yeah, it's going back and forth.
No, the chat.
The chat itself.
I don't know.
Joe, no say.
I don't know. I went to top chat for some reason. Now it's live chat. Yeah.
Chat's moving. So what's your big announcement? Was that your announcement on the live?
Big announcement?
Yes.
What's your big announcement?
I told you.
What?
The trap?
Oh, about the traps?
No. Look, the governor race is hot, unreasonably tight here in my state.
It's not that tight. It's 62 to 36%.
If for some reason this crazy what's so funny?
No.
That it's tight, but they're
not.
like 30% off from each other.
That's too close for us.
That's too close.
Way too close.
Like right now.
Come on.
Right now.
Get out of the way, Cat.
Man,
Now I'll blurry.
Stop. Oh, Pat's hand.
Is it?
Hey, your lifeline
there
for a minute.
Anyway.
But right now, with 23% reporting, Kemp has 62.5% of the votes, where she has
36.8.
36.8. But all of Atlanta has not voted yet. Atlanta's like majorly left.
Well, they've all voted now. Voting's closed.
Right. It hasn't been counted.
Yeah.
So here is my announcement. If for some reason she wins, I am running in the next governor. I'm going to run for governor.
Well, I'll tell you.
What would it be? Big Bear Homestead 2022?
2022. Big Bear 2022.
There you go.
Hey, could be Mad Dog 2020. But I'm serious. If she wins, I'm going to run for the next governor.
I don't know how you're going to do it.
What do you mean how am I going to do it? I'm going to put my name in the pot. That's how I'm going to do it.
You have to make it on the ballot, dang
I will make it on the ballot.
A little lower, like being like mayor of your town or, you know, sheriff. That's even bigger right there. I think a sheriff position is better than a mayor position.
The
There
sheriff
you
is the strongest position.
It is the strongest position.
Now, wait, I got a question now. Somebody brought it to my attention today that the coroner is more powerful than the sheriff. Is that true?
How is the coroner?
Because the coroner can arrest the sheriff. Is that true?
I've heard that before.
Look it up.
Police are for.
Look up. Look it up.
Look at it. Look at it.
Did you look it up?
I'm just saying. Look it up.
Did you look it up?
Just saying.
Because that is a BS.
In her phone. So something happened this last week, and so our son gets called out of school every once in a while. He'll throw up or something like that. But every time he gets pulled out of school, he has to stay out of school for 48 hours. And sometimes we feel that he's out of school more than he's in school. And so I was not in the best of mood because I took him to the doctor. Doctor said there's nothing wrong with him. And so we had to wait another 48 hours to take the kid back to school. I was in a busted mood. I was just ticked. And my wife brought me home something, and it made me instantly smile. And
to explain this, we have a very, very strict rule. This would be Captain Christmas if allowed. This 24/7, 365 days. I don't do that mess. You have Halloween, then Thanksgiving, and then Christmas. So we have a very hard rule in my house. My house.
Our house.
My house. That Christmas is not allowed till December 1st.
Okay.
Such a shitty day. That I got him something.
So you remember Pepe?
Oh, look!
For those of you that have never been in my truck, I have.
They've all seen your
Yeah.
Pepe, because trust me, we've done live streams for that truck.
Okay, well, for those that haven't seen them, Pepe is a dancing penguin that lives on the dash of my truck.
Yep.
Robyn, where are you? Oh, there you are.
When Pat was still driving the Prius, certain people, including Doc Ferris, would give him trash about his car not being manly enough. So as his loving wife, I bought him a dancing flower for his window.
And that was years ago, and it's still in there.
Pepe is in that live stream.
Yep. Pepe is in the live stream. Pepe's in the footage you haven't put up yet.
Uh-oh.
Zing!
Zing.
What footage?
The footage of us going by cars and stuff like that. We would buy that Woody.
Yep.
Yeah.
You took like 5 minutes of Pepe.
You got to put up Pepe.
So it can happen.
Oh.
At least in Indiana. That's
In
the one
Indiana.
I've found. That the coroner can arrest the sheriff.
Yep.
How can a doctor arrest?
He can't arrest the sheriff, but he can serve a warrant on the sheriff.
Yeah.
At the direction of the probate judge is what I see.
Yeah.
At least in Georgia. And it says the coroner is required to function as acting sheriff in the event that the sheriff can't serve.
Right.
Or doesn't have a chief deputy.
So
If you like dead bodies, I suppose that's good. Good way to go there.
pay attention to your coroner too, y'all.
You know? Well, if
God, I don't even know who this is.
if you take out the coroner, who's next in line?
Well, I mean, that's one of the things about our system, the way it's set up. There's always a line of suspicion.
The dog pound guy, the garbage man. The garbage man gets next in line.
Yeah. But I promise you, she wins.
Holy crap.
You'll be talking about.
Rebecca said that Abrams has gotten a judge to order 3 precincts to stay open, 1 until 10 p.m. and 2 until 9 p.m. in Fulton County.
Yeah, because they had
some voter issues with the machines.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You go in to vote. It's an electronic machine. I don't know if yours were electronic or you bubbled them in.
Yep, electronic.
Electronic. Ours, you physically write down.
We bubble
your ballot.
No.
Yeah,
and that's the way I think it should be because you're actually doing it. So in Texas, they were having issues with people going in, getting into the booth and voting, and when they voted for the Republican candidate, it would switch it to the Democratic candidate.
Yeah, double checked and triple checked ours. At least I did.
Yeah, I did too.
And so did my son. It was this voting round. Maybe not for Mama, but for me, it was a little bit emotional for me. I mean, here
I'm voting for America right now. This is
took his son for the first time.
Yeah, that's all.
You know, here it is. I came into Blaze's life when he was 5, getting ready to be 6.
Yeah,
and it's very easy for me to say that I was his only positive male role model. He didn't really have one until then. And I poured everything into this kid. And we sat down 4 days ago before the election, and we pulled up everything. And we had a conversation about it. And I joke, and I keep saying my kid is a closet Democrat because there's times I wonder. But after the election, we talked again, and he voted probably a little bit more conservative than I did, which made me go.
Yeah. Well, I will say I mostly lean to the right, but as I was walking up, and Megan doesn't know this, as I was walking up to the election booth, or the area where we vote, you have to walk in through the gates, and there's people on the left and there's people on the right, obviously, Democrat and Republican. They're trying to get your attention to talk to you, everything like that. And this one lady, I got her flyer on the thing, but we sat there. She went for district judge, and she was a Democrat, and we spoke for about 5 minutes. And I voted for her because she's a judge. She based things on case-by-case basis. Right. So she gave enough proof to me, and even by standing there at the election booth talking to people face-to-face, she gave me enough proof to go, you know what? Her intentions are great, and I went ahead and voted for her, which normally wouldn't have happened. I would have just gone.
They're not allowed to do that.
They're not allowed to be within 150 feet of the polls where we are. And
ours are like 10 feet from the door.
Yeah.
They're not even allowed to have people with signs. Like, there's no sign.
Really?
They literally measure back so far, and you can't have any candidate signs. People,
they're 10 feet from the door.
Vote.
But we did have the Black Panthers come out all over Atlanta armed to protect people's voting rights at voting booths.
That's awful. I know there were a few governors that called in their guard to make sure everybody was square.
When did we become the Middle East that we have to worry about
whether
or not you're going to get ganked going to the voting booth?
Yeah. Well, honestly, you think about it, it was the same way in the 70s and the early 60s.
Yeah.
So it's just,
I wouldn't know. I wasn't there.
It's just it's a repeat of history, man. It doesn't stop repeating.
But I mean, organizations, whether it's the Black Panthers or even on the flip side of that idiot coin, the Ku Klux Klan, neither one of them should be allowed to do that, because on either side of that coin, it's intimidating for either side.
It's a different age and time, and it's honestly.
No, I can understand though. Like, each group would intimidate the other group.
Yeah.
They said that they were citing the Second Amendment called "armed rally against voter suppression." How think of those words together: armed rally against voter suppression. Like, does anybody else think that sounds really stupid to me? I mean, that just.
So did you see that video I sent you? Because you said you wanted to talk about touchy touch subjects tonight.
Oh, no, touchy touch subjects? A little touchy touch? for touchy.
I told you I don't know if I was cool with the touchy touch because that just sounded like we belong in a family that wants candy.
Yes, she touched me.
I'm gonna touch my baby.
No.
No, I think we're just shooting it. You were in the tub at the time. I think we were chatting.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Never mind. Never mind.
Hey, come on! And I put on the little flip the little camera there so we can come on. It's like, dude, I'm in the tub. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I don't want to see that sea monster.
I don't know. Last time we talked, we said we were going to talk about gardening.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're talking about whatever.
LB.
So, okay, what I did this week was I did a lot of research on Victory Gardens, just going back to the day. I do have a few videos on Victory Gardens, but what I did was I got a whole bunch of radio shows together that they played back in the 40s for Victory Gardens called Homemakers Chat. And so there are a few actual pamphlets that have radio shows where it's got a script and everything like that. So I figured you guys and maybe Old Ways, New Times, we can all get together one night and do a live reading of these Victory Garden scripts.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, I think it'd be awesome. And just to try it out, just to show people, this is the way it was back in the day when people were at war and everything like that. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It was like when the girls were younger, we used to turn everything off and listen to Adventures in Odyssey.
Ooh, I used to do that too as a kid. Adventures in Odyssey and Dr. Demento.
Yeah.
Sunday shows that my father and I would listen to.
Yep.
Yeah. And I kind of miss doing that with them.
At one point, we had a CD set.
Yeah, but it wasn't the same.
You can still get it.
Use your words.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the group. It's like family
something. Yeah, I can't think of it. But the thing I think that was even better though is it wasn't about just turning on a CD. It was like waiting until 7 o'clock on a Sunday to turn it on and everybody sit down and listen to it.
And the music came on. It was like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And you had to be quiet at the beginning because they'd have a lead in to know what it was going to be about, and then the theme song would come on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the kids loved that.
We did something like that, but it wasn't as cool as that.
No. We'd always have Dr. Demento on as well. So Thanksgiving's coming up, guys.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
No, what's crazy is you saw that video I sent you about California, right? Did you watch that?
I didn't watch anything.
He's still fired up about this.
California needs to just look. If you're
in California, they stopped trapping, right? Trapping.
Well, if you live in California, you need to move.
Yeah, that was years ago.
Because, well, the city of San Francisco.
Nothing's happening now.
Okay.
The city of San Francisco, come January 1, it's illegal to sell fur. But
isn't that crazy?
But they are
the largest state in the union. That's all.
They started up safe. What are they calling them? Safe houses or safe places for addicted drug users to come in, get a free syringe, a free tourniquet, shoot their drugs up with not being arrested or anything.
That's because of their litter issue over there. I mean, the streets are literally littered with syringes and human feces out there.
Yeah.
Like San Francisco is just one big cesspit. And people are actually getting sick.
That is a prime example of why you cannot let, and I'm not trying to be ugly or anything, but you just can't let the far left take over.
I'm just saying they could stay in California.
No.
If they just stay over there, that's all the way on the other side of the country. And if you have smart sense, people who are smart enough will move out.
But there's so, I mean, there's needle exchange programs and stuff like that on the East Coast.
Yeah, I got that, but it's not like that. Safe houses.
It's not a tax.
Yeah.
It's not a tax-funded building.
I mean, it's a tax-funded program, but there's not a brick and mortar, if you will.
Exactly.
It's still funded, but it's not, you know.
Just crazy.
You guys got any big plans for Thanksgiving?
No, I'm fortunate. My job every year gives us either a ham or a turkey, whichever one we want. And so we know we'll have a turkey for Thanksgiving.
I keep telling her we got 3 of them that live with us, but she just don't think that's funny.
No.
We get like my job gives me a 4-day weekend.
Yeah.
They give us Friday off.
Yeah, we do that too.
Yeah. And so it's a 4-day weekend for us.
Mine does not.
No, yours does not. Because no matter what holiday it is, animals need to be fed and taken care of.
Yep.
That's true.
That is true. We don't get a day off. So I am in the middle of researching, and I need to find somebody that is reliable.
Who will be a guinea pig? No, I'm just
and who has a lot of experience with cob or adobe making.
Silence.
Yeah. Because I was reading that book that we won from you. And
the home book.
Back to basics.
Back to basics. Yep.
This one.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I learned how to make my raccoon hat that I sent to.
There's this.
What are you looking at, honey?
No, I'm looking for a book that I have.
Okay.
So I'm going to stand up here for a minute.
At least you have short.
Yeah, at least I'm short.
Take
a look at this there, Jason. Oh, yeah.
Go, Diddy. Woo.
Look at those legs. Holy cow.
Those are my Crocs. Are you serious?
Oh, am I serious?
Well, he was in the Navy.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I was in the Navy. And he was in the Marines.
Yep.
What book?
Our birthday's coming up Saturday.
Oh, it'll probably be on that one, honey, because those are on my books. Your shit's in the middle of that blue one.
I'll give up.
Yeah, I don't know. Is anybody from the crowd? Nobody's commenting that they have experience.
I mean, there's one person in there.
Kitty's the one who knows how to do cob everything. That's what I'm guessing.
No.
No? You don't think so?
No. No, but I was reading in your book, and then I was reading in the other book. I'm going to build a north-facing, like,
I thought you said you wanted an Earth ship.
Oh, I do want an Earth ship, but
what about like a mini Earth ship, something small?
Will you let him say what he's going to build?
Finish what you're going to say.
I mean, for
my bad.
Sake. But I want to build the north-facing storage room where we can put our wine when we're fermenting the wine. We can put it in there, and I want to get like an auger though, especially for the summertime, and just go down about 20 feet. So that way it would be its own little like air conditioning unit.
That's gonna be an issue right behind your house though, because you got that pond right there.
Yeah, I know.
You go further down, it's gonna fill up the water.
I know.
So that might be, I don't know.
Yeah.
Might work.
And I also want to use the cob and the adobe to make a use it as a foundation, because in your book it shows you how to build a sauna and hot tub with a wood burning stove.
Yeah.
One thing I've always wanted is a sauna.
Yeah.
I made him one once.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the most ghetto thing ever. We had a shower in our old house in Laurinburg, that was, we called it our old people shower because it was like a double sliding door situation with a seat in it. And I took heavy duty trash bags and cut them up and sealed around the top of the doors and around the bottom, and put a washcloth in the drain and turned on the hot water and made him a sauna.
There you go.
There you go.
It worked.
I noticed this one guy, but I don't know where he went to. He used to make YouTube videos
All the time.
and I don't know where he went, but I know he made a cob house because I went to his place to visit it, and it was actually 10 to 15 degrees cooler inside that cob house than it was outside of it. But I just don't know where the guy went. He just like disappeared off the face of the planet. I mean, I don't see any new YouTube videos from him or anything. I mean,
and just kind of
disappeared. I guess he died or something. I don't know.
I love those videos he made. It's pretty awesome. I'm still making videos.
Go for green living.
Yeah. That's
Daniel.
Thanksgiving's coming up. Then 48 days.
Cool. How many?
48.
Are you counting?
No.
48 days till Christmas.
Christmas. You said Thanksgiving.
You dork.
No.
We have Thanksgiving coming up.
And then 48 days.
Oh, and then 48 days. Gotcha. We've been drinking too much.
Maybe we drink more.
Well, are you coming down in December?
Hmm?
Are you coming down in December to run the trap line?
I don't know. I gotta. So they're coming to visit for Christmas. Her parents.
And Thanksgiving. I know. I remember we talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
When he was in the bathtub.
Yeah. But
oh, happy day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, happy day.
It'll more depend on what time I have off from work so that he can come down.
Right.
Oh, you're not coming with him?
Well, I don't see why not.
I don't know. We have not discussed this at all.
She's like deer headlights.
We haven't discussed this either. I mean, we should have. He said one of them. He said,
"Use your words."
A dabba dabba doo, a dabba dee. He said he wanted me to come down to do the line with him, and then that means really all of us. But
I did not know that
about dates or anything like that.
Is Lone Star saying that?
Yes.
Cruz is fixing to lose.
Cruz.
I guess Texas Senate is about to turn blue. Creamy sad.
Yeah, they keep highlighting Texas blue for some reason. I don't know, guys. You know what? Number one, look after yourself and look after your own.
This is true, but
Then,
But
my wife, Robyn.
Where'd it go?
do what?
So you sound like my wife.
Texas is still red.
Texas has turned red. It was blue earlier.
I don't know.
So yeah, Christmas coming up, then New Year's, since 2019.
And then you get another year older.
Yes. Then I turned 37.
7. Yeah.
37.
I remember when I turned 37.
What happened when you turned 37?
I turned 37.
Really not much.
I don't even think I got birthday booty. Did I get birthday?
So what I really want to talk about tonight was so we can give our viewers some content. Was gardening for next year.
Yeah.
What are you guys planning for next year?
Look, I'm still gardening.
I know you're still gardening. It's still hot.
No, I'm
It
gardening.
was 70 degrees this morning when I
Oh
woke
my god, we hit almost 80 today. I'm
Yeah.
like, are you kidding me right now?
Hey, where are you going? You
Should
can't
be
hear
back.
me in the middle of the show?
Hallway.
Yeah, our dogs and cats are running around the house. So I mean, I'm talking about your spring garden. What are you planning on doing for next year? Are you going to add anything new?
Yes.
Fantastic.
it was earlier.
You care to elaborate on what you're adding?
We are doing we got very frustrated this year. Our garden did really well but the
Too
weeds,
well.
the weeds beat us out.
Mm-hmm.
And with the weeds and the mosquitoes and everything,
Mm-hmm.
it was very hard to keep up with stuff.
Yeah.
So we are taking out a lot of crappy sweet gum trees. All those trees that were in the front of the house.
On the side of the house covered in the ivy.
Oh, yeah.
All of
that's
those,
gone.
all the ones in the
Going.
front yard. We are going to a grow food, not lawn method here, and we're going to a bunch of raised beds
In the front yard.
in the front yard.
Smart.
One with
Right there.
micro irrigation that's going to be gravity fed off of a rainwater catchment system that's going to be on the house.
Mm-hmm.
That spot that had that bit that used to be the big trash bin that I did the video on, big green thing, that's coming out. And there's going to be a rainwater catchment system right there. And then that's going to gravity feed to the micro irrigation to all of the raised beds.
Mm-hmm. She's talking about the gumballs.
Oh.
But the gumballs will stop sprouting in about 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
That's, between that and our biggest thing here, the nemesis here is nutsedge and Johnson grass.
Yeah.
And it's so bad here that the University of Georgia actually has a like $5 million grant to study what pesticides will actually work on those two, because they're resistant to the normal pesticide or the normal herbicides. I'm sorry. But yeah, and the funny thing is, if you do the research back on Johnson grass and nutsedges, they were, I can't remember which one it is, but one of them is actually not indigenous to the area. It was actually introduced to originally be another food source for animals, and just got out of control.
Aren't you?
No, it's not. You just drank a little bit.
We are drinking moonshine.
Oh, you're drinking the stuff from
Josh.
Cheers.
Yes.
Big ears.
And
whoo. I love it with cherry Coke. It's so good with cherry Coke. Just saying. Oh yeah, you get regular Coke.
We're talking about gardening.
Yeah, we are talking about gardening. And what are you going to do with those gum trees?
I am going to build up the one wall on my dam down here.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to do that. And
well, I thought we were going to use some of them for the shrooms.
I don't know.
The only thing with that is that they said that the sweet gum trees won't last as long.
Right. I'm going to go to probably use those maples.
Maples or oaks.
Probably oak.
Jason is drinking again on stream. This never ends well. He didn't get a whole lot. It's like this much at the bottom. And so
you are full of crap. There's
Lone
more than
Star
that.
Living said, Josh, we're talking about JJL Forage. Is that his thing? Yeah. So mushrooms, yes. So we've got plugs for mushrooms. They're little dowel pieces that they infected with the spore. With the spores.
They got infected.
And you have to drill a hole.
They got the Ebola.
Tap, tap, tap.
They got the shiitake Ebola.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, stop.
Huh?
Got a need for you. For Snub.
For who?
Suburban Hillbilly has a thing for knees, doesn't she?
No. That's Winter Bass, you dork.
Oh, my bad. She got a good show anyway.
I haven't seen her in a while. Has anybody seen her?
No.
Nothing.
Not infected, inoculated. Yes, I was being funny, freak geek. Sorry.
So what do you guys? So you're gonna get raised bed in the front. What do you guys? Are you gonna go with some just simple veg, or are you gonna try to do anything intricate?
Well, we're gonna do simple veg in the raised beds.
No, I disagree. We don't. We don't do simple veg. We never do simple veg. We don't do just a plain Roma tomato. We got to have green zebra tomatoes.
That's simple veg.
No, that's not simple veg.
That's simple. That is simple
no.
heirloom veg.
No. One thing we learned, and I don't know if anybody else.
We agreed with you, Jason. I'm just saying.
Like a tomato, regardless of variety, to me is a simple
tomatoes.
Yeah.
No. Anyway.
At the end of the day, you can slap that slice of tomato in some egg, in some flour, and fry that baby up, and then slap your mama.
Okay. I'll give you that. But
okay,
it's not simple veg.
It's simple.
It's pretentious veg. Anyway, I'm sorry. We raised the stuck-up veggies. I'm just saying.
Veg.
I'm too good to be a Roma. Just saying. But anyway.
You're growing that middle class veg.
Yeah, that's it. So I mean, like we can't.
We're growing the Donald Trump veg.
We can't just grow, regular corn.
Making vegetables great again.
We can't. We can't just have regular corn. We have to do glass gem corn, and we can't have regular beans. We have to have these beans with these red flames going down the middle of them. I mean, it's
hot rod beans.
Yeah, we never have anything, just a plain old anything.
But in the raised beds, we're going to do the vegetables. And where our vegetable garden was, we're going to plant
sorghum.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do that around the pond. It'll be a good water source for them.
We're going to have to be really careful, though. We're going to have to watch the sorghum because it's very close to where our Jerusalem artichokes are. And every year, it seems like the beds where the Jerusalem artichokes were doubles in size.
That's because we had an individual that came to the homestead to visit, and he was in the Navy too.
And, the same guy that just disappeared and fell off the face of the earth.
and this motard, he was out there. He wanted some of the fartichokes.
Yeah.
So
next time I come out there, I'm going to grab some fartichokes because I like to throw some out back.
Come and get
the best survival crop.
He just started pulling them up and then
tossing them off to the side.
Well, he forgot where he tossed some because now I got Jerusalem artichokes popping up all over the place when they're in an invasive species.
All by themselves.
By themselves.
They didn't need anything.
I put them in a raised bed.
But
I think he did that on purpose because he was jealous.
The problem is that they grow. They're actually more like a sunflower than anything.
Yeah. And
so what happens is the top of the plant, the bottom of the plant is what you eat, is the tuber. But then the top part of the plant looks very similar to a sunflower. Mm-hmm. And so what happens is when it opens up, you get all those seeds. The seeds disperse.
No, don't blame it on the seeds. It was him.
No,
I blame him.
We have artichokes that are like 6 rows over in the garden.
He was slinging the snot out of them.
No, look, he's like, I still got a ton of them because he took some with him.
Yeah.
And they just produce and produce and produce. It's crazy. They're very invasive. So,
that's a good thing, though.
It is.
That's like a hidden crop for preppers and homesteaders. So let's say
the problem with them is, man. You have never had gas like you have had.
I'm not kidding you.
When you eat Jerusalem artichoke, like you mash them up and do like mashed potatoes, or you make Jerusalem artichoke chips.
Yeah, you can slice them up.
You can fry them up, and they are freaking good. They're awesome. You can eat like a 20-pound bag and not realize it. But you'll realize it in about 30 minutes because then your stomach starts going. Blah, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah,
it's
blah.
bad.
And you swell up like the girl that ate the blueberries from Willy Wonka.
That's why we call them fartichokes. Like
that's a cut of fart. This is no lie. from eating the Jerusalem artichoke chips. She farted, and I promise you,
lifted her up.
it lifted her up, and it lasted like a minute. It was the fart. It was the never-ending fart. It was like wow.
And it just kept going.
It sounded like a chainsaw.
But okay, so Lone Star Living wants to know, what do they taste like? I hear people talk about them a lot. They're very similar to a potato.
Yes,
but they're a little sweeter. I don't know how many of y'all know much about Jerusalem artichokes, but they used to use them back in World War II as a substitute for potatoes.
Yeah, fried squash talked all about it.
In the camps, they used to, because they were so easy to grow and they would take over, that they had enough that they could produce to be able to feed people.
And boy, would they keep your cold.
Oh. So, and then just a little bit would make you feel fuller than you actually were. And then the other thing is it's good for people who are on that have diabetes, because it doesn't mess with their blood sugar the way that potatoes do.
I know the perfect gift to send my ex-wife.
No.
A bag of Jerusalem artichokes and a quart of Cajun pickled quail eggs.
No.
I bought you some of those the other day.
Yep, I got some Cajun pickled quail eggs in my fridge.
Have you eaten it?
Yeah, I've had a few. Why? What's up?
You ain't had enough yet because you're still breathing. Look, when we had quail, we used to make them all the time. I could sit there and eat the quart.
And I used to get mad at him because I could sell them quicker than he could eat them.
I mean, we were selling them the bars.
Yeah.
Everybody. I had this one lady come to my house, and she said,
she threatened,
if you sell my husband one more quart of those quail eggs, I will come back here and I will cut your balls off.
Flat out told him that.
And I was like, why? And she's like, his gas was so bad, I threw up.
She's like, I swear to you, if you ever sell him anymore.
Eaten all of them at once?
I guess not. I'm talking.
Maybe that would be good.
Well, I mean, and maybe they're not true Cajun style pickled quail eggs that you got.
I'm telling you.
But the recipe that we use, I mean, good. I just sit there and eat them, quart of them in like 10 minutes. And
it's bad. Like, he has to sleep in the other room. Like, there's no way. It is.
You're talking about on like regular pickled eggs.
Yeah.
So I guess you just haven't eaten enough of them.
Guess not.
I mean, to the point where, hey, and when I'm dropping a deuce after I eat one, I got a dawn and clear, baby, because it ain't good. It's not good at all. Woo!
We don't have an exhaust fan in the bathroom right now. So he's really suffering.
You're propping the window up with a 2x4. All the roaches that are hiding in the cracks and crevices are coming out. They got the little German gas masks on.
In the revive. That's great. So just regular veg then, huh?
No, I think we're gonna try a couple of different things.
This is what being a homesteader is all about. Is growing your own food and then experimenting with them and going, look, man, they're good, but if you like your marriage, you really won't eat a whole quart of them pickled quail eggs at one time.
Yeah.
She will leave you.
Well, I mean,
think about it. If you ate Jerusalem artichokes
on quail eggs
with chips on those quail eggs, you could go to Iraq and end it all.
Is that a platform for a Big Bear 2022?
That's how I'm going to win the governor's office. I'm going to take out Iraq. Let's give you about 10 rednecks, about 200 quail, and an acre of Jerusalem artichokes.
Oh my God.
They're ISIS too.
You're killing me.
They're going to be was.
Right.
Death by bear gas. Man.
But just
for dual purpose. I mean, really, you're feeding them and
you're entering the war on terror.
So win-win.
Trump needs to call. My phone needs to ring, and Mr. Trump needs to be on there. I'll sons of bitches.
Jason. It's gonna be huge.
Huge.
Yes.
Got something for you, Mr. President. It's huge.
Huge.
Oh,
We like to win.
oh.
So we're talking about getting a greenhouse.
Yes.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
a
I heard you
must.
talking about
We
that.
need to get one too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we're gonna bite the bullet, and I'm gonna modify a Harbor Freight.
Okay.
I
We're
want to
gonna get
build
a Harbor Freight, and we're gonna modify it where it's indestructible.
No.
I want to build one out of 2-liter bottles. You see them all over
I've
Pinterest.
seen them all over the internet, but you know what? I've never seen one in real life.
No.
I want to build one just to see if it works.
How many 2-liter bottles you got lying around?
Oh,
Actually, we have
hey,
quite
look,
a few.
I can walk up and down this street and get enough to build a 2-story one.
Yeah, we actually started saving quite a while ago, just because when December into January comes around, we start making self-watering containers for our seed starting stuff.
Yeah.
And this whole room will be lined in those with all the seedlings that have started to come up. As soon as they're ready to what do you call that? Transplant, yeah.
We're drinking, baby.
Whenever
It's going to
you
be a
go
good
to
night for Daddy.
Whenever
Look how much further down hers is than his.
What are you
So,
talking
their drinks.
about? Oh, yeah, right.
but
She's made quite much more than you have there, Jason.
That's because Jason's got a plan.
when you
Keep drinking, honey. Why is the rum gone?
when you go to transplant, then it, at least for us, it works a lot better to have self-watering containers because the humidity, it gets pretty warm in here because it's such a small area. What?
What she put in the chat? I can't. Hey, if I catch up to her drinking, it's gonna go from being a family-friendly live stream
No,
to
we'll be
NC-17.
Deuces. But yeah, it's a lot easier to keep all of the seedlings alive when there's self-watering containers around here. So
Just like we're gonna revamp our aquaponics system.
Well, I've got 3 totes, 330-gallon totes, and I was thinking about trying some sort of aquaponics.
I've been watching what's his name, Rob Bob Aquaponics. Anyway, it's
aquaponics.
I think that
he's this cat from Australia, and one of the issues that we were having was with our bell siphon. And watching his, I was like, we're just gonna rebuild the bell siphons, and we're literally going to throw bread in my pond, and when the baby catfish come up to the top, we're gonna throw out a cast net and catch them and toss them into the aquaponics. Because I was promised a bunch of tilapia from somebody, and poof.
disappeared. He got lost in his comp house, I guess.
So
now I know who you're talking about. So that's all I'm proud of.
he comes from all right. But so we're gonna dump a crap ton of catfish in our fish tanks. And then we're just gonna grow a bunch of wet foot stuff, a lot of lettuces. I want to grow cranberries. I want to put cranberries in there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do something crazy, I'd be like grow like wasabi or ginseng. Those are 2 cash crops a lot of people do in
The mountain.
Greenhouses, yeah. What did you say? Ginseng and what else?
Ginseng and wasabi. Real wasabi.
Are they both wet foot though?
They are. You put them in gravel basically, continuously
That's what.
water them, and that's how they grow.
Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, what my plan is, and I'm already planning this whole 10-foot by 12-foot greenhouse, is to have waist high beds. And
You want them that high?
I want them waist high because that way we don't have to bend all the way.
Bend over. Ours were actually a little bit taller than that. I think the actual, like the platform that the smaller totes, we used the troughs, the really shallow troughs.
Right.
Yeah, and those, I think the actual trough was up to about my chest or neck area, so it was just reaching over to pull everything out.
When the trough wasn't that high, the frame.
The frame was like boob high.
Yeah.
And
it was boob height.
Yeah, it was like boob height.
I feel like a shit ton, but it's just boob height.
Yeah. And and then right here was where I'm telling you. I'm shorter than you.
I know you're shorter than me.
It was like boob high. And then up to the things, I had to actually to reach over. I had to get on my tippy toes. I'm shorter than you.
I know you're shorter than me. But what I'm trying to say to you is it was this high on me. It was higher than that on you.
No, I don't think so.
I
think you were smoking a crack rock when you put it together. I love you.
Josh,
what's up?
Thinking of you, Josh.
Hey, Josh. I know we only met a couple times. One was at the HOA, and I really need to talk to you about getting a pair of those tongs that they got.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, when am I gonna get my utensils, man?
When am I gonna get my shirt?
What shirt?
The shirt you owe me.
That's pretty clear. What size are you?
XL.
All right. I'll go inside.
What shirt?
You chewed me out for wearing a Pratt family any shirt, and you're like, I want to wear one.
Go over to the tote and get one.
Huh?
And I told you to go over to the tote and get one.
Oh, I never did.
Yeah. So whose fault is that?
I don't know. I wasn't listening.
Yep. Nacho, lick it.
So we want it to be about waist high. It'll be a deeper bed, and I figure that way we can mix our own soil to where we want to put some rock dust in there, make it all nutritional and well for plants to grow.
What's he talking about?
Wait, so
what freaking transition did you just do?
No, he's saying
you're talking about the beds for the
aquaponics or for the greenhouse?
Yeah.
Which one? The aquaponics or the beet or the?
He's talking about the greenhouse.
I'm talking about the greenhouse.
Okay, because you started talking about soil, and we're like, whoa, no.
That's not how you do your aquaponics.
Hey, have you watched any of Homesteadonomics video on his in-ground greenhouse?
I've seen Homesteadonomics. I can't tell you if I've seen a lot of YouTube. I've been to the depths and back.
We dug a hole into his back area, and it was pretty neat.
Yes, Homesteadonomics. He did a buried one, right?
Right. Yeah.
He's in Arizona.
He
collects rainwater because he doesn't have plumbing.
Yeah. Right. Well, he's in
Arizona
in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
And the point of that was to get the more geothermal out of it than anything else. So we're gonna go with raised beds in there, and I did the math, and it's about 100 square feet of dirt. So that's a lot to be growing in if you're doing square foot gardening. Also on top of that, we're gonna put a smaller 1 foot wide row around the outside of it. In the back, we're gonna have a sink.
Sounds great, honey.
Sink?
A sink.
For what?
We're gonna hook it up to plumbing. The greenhouse.
Well, I didn't think you were gonna hook it up to dirt.
Huh?
What do you need a sink in a greenhouse for?
To wash his hands because they're dirty.
Well, you also need to water your stuff and everything like that. You just get water right there.
What's wrong with the hose?
I don't
know.
You just sink.
You were not getting a sink before I get my house.
At Augusta Tech, we had like a $40,000 greenhouse. The thing was awesome. I would love to build one
He had
like
the
that.
misters and stuff too.
And because it had dangling misters, and it had a little bit of a sink in it, but we never used it.
Huh. Yeah, Megan wants an outdoor shower. Bad.
Yes.
Very bad.
That's awesome. An outdoor shower is fantastic, especially during the summertime.
Yeah. Well, after the hurricane, we took many outdoor showers.
Yeah.
I'm just saying you're not
She
getting a
loved it.
sink in your greenhouse before I get an outdoor shower.
I got it, honey. All
I
right.
know. Driving that home.
Okay. Driving home. Park it.
Driving it home.
Mm-hmm. That's
Well,
that's what I was thinking. Do a sink that uses a water hose, because if you just had one that you could hook up your hose to,
Yeah.
She was just
But-
driving it home.
I know.
Just use faucets, hose faucets instead of regular sink faucets.
Yeah.
Why do you keep staring at me like that? You wanna
Because you're
punch me in
throwing
the
stuff
face.
out there. Because you're throwing stuff
She's
out
like,
there.
we never talked about a sink. What are you talking about?
Exactly. You're like, oh, Megan doesn't know this, but blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
And
How about this? Riddle me this, Batman.
Oh.
Megan texts me today, and she's like, "Oh, okay. The other day was I want a cow."
I do want a cow.
Oh, I love
No, you don't.
cows. Yes, you do.
No, I want to eat the cow.
I'll tell you one.
And then today it was I want a pig.
I want pigs. And I actually looked up pig pens today and how to build them and square footage and all that kind of shit. We got the room, honey. I'm just saying, we got the room.
And I'm sure you watched all of my videos on pigs and pig pens, how you could do it for free.
I did not because I don't have access to YouTube at work.
Because that's what she does at work.
No, I mean, there are behavioral videos that we have tried to watch, Captain Smartass, and we can't because we don't have access to YouTube.
Well, how many pigs do you want?
Don't say it. Don't say it. I'm reading a book, right? I'm sitting there inside their rental house. We were at the HOA,
Like
and
2 or 3.
it's how to.
I got them. You can buy them right now, $50 a piece.
They got like 100 pigs.
I know. You told me that. If we ever want a pig, just let them know.
Yep. We got it.
And hey, and in all seriousness, if you want a cow, you talk to me. Even if you ain't got the room, you put a deposit down. It stays here, and then when it's time to go to slaughter,
We'll just package it up.
we'll package it up. You
bring
come
it to
down and
you.
get it.
Yeah.
What's your price down there for pigs processing?
It depends on how
Oh.
big you get it.
Yeah.
Like up here, it's about $200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere around in there.
We did a 700. Obama was 785,
No, 726.
and he cost us about $300. And
But
then
I think
and-
he could have charged us more.
yeah, and then was it Henry that we took to? No, he did the cow. Never mind. I'm sorry, he did the cow. Baldy, we took the new guy, Baldy, and Baldy gave us 700 and some odd pounds of meat,
Mm-hmm.
and we paid
300.
350.
Yeah.
350, 375 for the, and he was a steer.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was. That's right.
Yeah, that's Dave's cow that I was telling you about, asking you about if you want to get some.
Yeah.
It was going to be about $300 for him to get his
Yeah.
cow done.
Process.
and then-
Well,
yeah.
this guy was at work today selling beef, $4 a pound.
Yep.
for a mixed, like an assortment. Like there's steaks, like stew beef, ground, a roast, and something else.
Look, I tell everybody, you want to get a whole cow from me, hanging weight. I'll sell it to you at hanging weight at right about $5 a pound. That's going to cost you about $5,000 for an entire cow.
It's crazy. Wait a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we don't grow them small. We don't process them young. We process them at
It'll
about
be
2 to 3 years
two and
old.
a half
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah.
That's what I was telling Megan. It was like a cow takes 2 years, honey. A pig takes one less
One
than a year.
season.
8 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can, especially a
Well,
meat pig.
our cows take longer to grow because they're
Grass.
all grass fed.
Yeah.
We don't pasture raise and then finish them on grain or any
Mm-mm.
bull crap like that. They are on grass from the time they pop out.
Well, yeah.
until the day they walk on that trailer.
Besides mama's milk. But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just saying. But yeah, they don't get unless they bogart some out of the kids. Like one time they got out of the fencing and came up, and we came in one day and they were in the feed shed. But they I mean, and then when we do the milk cows, we give them a very small bucket of grain. Well, not even I guess you can't really call it grain, but feed, to be able to just to keep her attention while we're milking her. You know, it's not enough to.
And we're gonna get away from that because I'm gonna do fodder.
Yeah.
And it'll be. She'll be eating oats and wheat and barley and stuff like that while she's getting milk.
Yeah.
So, question for you guys: you've never raised pigs before. How many pigs should you start out with?
Oh.
Depends on the breed.
Oh, yeah. If you do it, let's say you do a heritage breed of some sort, so it'll be small.
I would say if you're going to do a pig like a Yorkshire, which is a good baconer, or a Tamsworth, which is a good baconer, I would probably say 2, just to keep them, have each other company. It depends on what time of the year you get them. If you get a cold snap, they can lay together and keep each other warm.
Yeah, especially when if you buy them as piglets, you definitely want more than one just so they'll keep each other warm if it's cool. The other thing is if you're thinking more sustainable, which is what once we did our first round, we figured out we really needed to do was we just started with a breeding trio. So we had 2 females and a male. And as soon as they started to produce piglets, that's when you really start raising piglets to eat, because they'll have them in the spring and by the fall it's time to process.
And that's where you can also make some of your money back. What you do is you get that breeding trio. Like we have Berkshire Yorkshire crosses. Those are our baconers. And then we have our lard pigs, which is American guinea hog crossed with Jesus pig, because we don't know exactly how they got pregnant. And but with the breeding trio, we got a total of like 6 piglets out of them. Now what'll happen is I'll grow them up through the winter. Maybe in the spring I'll process 1 or 2 for us. But then the rest of them, I'm going straight to Athens or Clemson or.
I don't even think we're going to have to go that far.
Somebody here on the live stream that wants to come down, and I sell it because they'll be pasture raised and they can buy it hanging weight, and we'll tote it to the processor for them. They tell the processor what cuts they want. They pay for the processing. They pay me what I charge for the hanging weight, and then they get the whole pig.
Now, the other thing that Jason's not really thinking about, because I can hear him the way he's talking, if we raise them through the winter, they're not gonna put on a lot of weight during the winter. In the spring is where they'll start to grow again, start growing back faster. Come July 4th, if we have any left, they'll be gone by July 4th, because everybody around here roasts pig for the 4th of July. So there's enough business around here that we won't even have to look at a restaurant. You'll be able to sell that pig and just wipe your hands clean of it and not have to worry about all of that other stuff. So,
well, I mean, you can do that route, but I'm trying to get back into restaurants because they are a more routinely thing, you know.
The way
How do you get into that, though?
The way that everybody's trying to crack down on regulatory stuff with food, it's a lot more difficult to get into a restaurant than it is to sell to somebody who just wants to drop a couple $100 on a pig or $300 on a pig. You know,
no,
it has to be butchered at FDA or something like that, right?
You develop a relationship with the head chef, and then the head chef goes to the owner of the restaurant and says, "Look, I need X amount allowance," and then the chef comes to your farm and he says, "I want that one and that one. And you load them up on the truck, and then you take them to the processor. Now, it has to be a certain processor.
Has to be a USDA processor.
Which they usually pick the processor because they know which one they need to use. And they pay the processing fee. They just pay me the hanging weight. It's no different than if I was to sell it to you, Josh, Kitty, Joe Schmuckatelli down the road.
Licensing thing to be an inspector, or if you actually have to be like a member of the FDA, I don't know.
What for what?
To be a licensed inspector of it. So
you got to
do it in your own backyard. Look, I'm licensed. I can do this here.
Oh, you got to go through a whole bunch of school and
they have to
and
have
all kinds of crap.
Yeah, and you have to have your it's a nightmare. Just like the other thing with when you're doing processing like that, you have to take them to them live because they have to test them and do all that stuff before they, so like the cat where we had our cow done, that was by no means USDA at all. You walked in, pulled up your truck to the back where he does the processing. He walks up with a gun, bam, drag him off, hang him up, pull off the skin. I mean, like it was.
We were selling the restaurants in Augusta, and we were using a processor called Happy Valley.
Yep.
He only did pigs on certain days, and then he did cows on certain days, and then he did goats and sheep on certain days. During deer season, he only did deer on certain days. You had to make an appointment a week in advance.
At least.
I'm bringing X amount of cows. I need to bring X amount of pigs. Yeah. And he would tell you how many you could bring. What time you needed to be there to drop these animals off. Yep. You'd back up your trailer. The USDA inspector would come out.
Do a blood test.
He would walk into the back of your trailer, pull blood, give him a real quick once over, go back into his office. He'd come out in 5-10 minutes and say, yep, they're good. And then you can unload them. And then they would do more. That was just to get them off the trailer. Then you'd have to do, then they would do more tests
before they process them. It was a very strenuous, it was not.
But most of the time, once they got off the trailer,
they were good. Yeah.
They were good.
Yeah. And we've never had any issue because of the way that we raise them. We don't really have anything that ever really comes up. So.
And if you do them in the pig pen, like how we have them on the pig pen, and you do them, like ideally, if you've got the room and you guys wanted to do 2 pigs.
We got the room.
Yeah. You could literally make small pig pens, put them here for a month or 2, let them root it all up. Boop. Then move that pig pen right beside it, and just kind of like how Salatin moves, how we move meat birds or how you move your egg mobile.
Cody Rhodes does the same thing with electric netting for his pigs.
Now with that though, you have to have a physical barrier at first. If you're starting with a wiener pig and
now is this a wiener pig or a wiener pig?
Wiener. You call them wieners. Weaner, not to be confused with the other. Let me tell you a funny story real quick.
Oh God.
Oh Lord.
When we were first doing pigs, we got taken advantage.
Stop. You need to go back further than that. No. Look, I am not joking, and I'm not tooting my own horn when I said we are probably one of the first homesteading channels on YouTube. And I know this to be factual because, one, I went and looked at a lot of people's start date, and we've got them by months. But there was no video. When we were trying to learn, there was no videos and stuff out on YouTube.
No articles, nobody blogging, nothing. Of that stuff.
And we just missed the boat is what we did. We didn't know any better about YouTube or blogging or anything like that. But we were starting to talk about pigs. Well, of course, we were reading Seymour's book. We were reading the Backyard Homestead books, and we learned that a small pig was called a wiener pig.
You're totally messing up this story.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Because we got the black pigs first.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
No.
Oh my God, yes, we did. Because we got the black pigs, and we realized that we were not doing.
Racist.
They were Russian, like whatever, wild pigs, and we didn't know any better. We thought they were just pigs. We didn't know any better. That was the problem with us. It's always been the problem with us. We always jump before we research. That's us. If you ever want it in one sentence, it's doing stuff without researching it first. That's us.
So
anyway,
backwards.
So we got these pigs. We found out real quick that they were not the type that you want to try and raise because they were constantly foraging and getting out of their pens because they were wild. They were not domesticated in any way, shape, or form.
I almost had one of them kill me.
So anyway, they were really bad. And we didn't even, I mean, you never really think about like the tusks, you know, and then you finally see them. And
it was what, pork chop or ham bone?
One of those, but
something like that.
So they used to get into the neighbor's yard because he had an apple tree and all the apples would go to the ground and they would get in there and like root up his apples. I mean, it was a nightmare. But anyway, we finally got rid of them. And we were like, okay, we want to do a new breed. So we started researching what breeds we wanted. And that was, we were looking in Seymour's book. And in Seymour's book, it talks about them being the best thing to do is buy wiener pigs, W-E-A-N-E-R, meaning that they've been weaned, they're good to go. You can start feeding them with slop and feed and grass and all that stuff.
Okay, stop. So what does genius over here type into Google?
Wiener pig.
No.
Get ready. Don't have anything in your mouth. Everybody warning right now. No in anybody's mouth at all.
Einstein over here types into Google how to raise wieners.
So I can give you a few ideas.
I wasn't even thinking. I like typing. I'm like, how to raise wieners. And then I went, it was the worst.
And she was on images without the kid safety thing on.
Oh my God, I died. I laughed for probably the better part of 30 minutes. Could not breathe. I was almost hyperventilating. It was so bad.
Wife look at pornography.
Yep. It was really bad. But anyway, so back to the original question of if you're going to start with pigs, you know, you definitely want more than one, because the other thing too to think about is if it's your first time, it's better to have, you know, what is it? They say one is none and two is one. If something happens to one of them, you still have one left over. Whereas if you're just focusing on this one piglet and something happens to it, then you're stuck.
Yeah, getting wiener pigs are not hard here. We are just right down the road from Smithfield's.
Oh, yeah.
We got pigs all over the place, and you can get them all. But most likely, I'll probably get them from you guys anyway. But
yeah, they definitely. There's nothing.
You better come quickly, because the longer I keep them, the more expensive they get.
I don't know. By the time you get them, we're like, take them.
Put feed in them. I mean, I'm just being honest. That's just more money I got in them.
Yeah.
The bigger they are, the more they're going to be.
Yep. Yeah, and here's the bad thing about at least the American guinea hogs is they don't grow nearly as fast as a baconer. A baconer you can grow, you know, like we were saying, from if you have a spring piglet, by October they're ready to go.
Well, that's the same way with a guinea hog. They're just not as big. The guinea hog is a fatty pig, so he's not going to get huge.
But he's not going to be at a weight where you would really want to process him after 8 months.
Bet.
I will bet.
Slave for a day?
Slave for a day, absolutely. And I'm not shaking on it, but you've got it on camera. There's no way I would waste, after just 8 months, there's just no way. I mean, if you have 10 million of them like we do, yeah, I could see that. But for one person that's raising...
Think about...
Slave for a day.
It was like, what? 2 months after we got here that one she threw, right?
Yes, they're over a year old now, and I still would not butcher them.
They're not going to get much bigger there,
They
love.
will. Look at the moms. They will get to almost 300 pounds, which is a good weight to butcher a
Not
pig
a
at.
lard pig.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Look it up.
You look it up.
You look it up.
I will. But I'm telling you.
Wrong.
No, I'm telling you.
You're
I'm
doing it
not.
wrong.
I'm gonna do you wrong in a minute.
Oh, please do.
So, hey, we're going to do our barter box if you guys don't mind. If you guys want to stop fighting. I'm just kidding. Have you seen the barter box before?
Yeah, we want a pair of survival utensils.
Yeah, it's still sitting in the backpack that was sitting in your house when I was over there, and I just never gave it to you. I did
Share
bring
an
it to you
umbrella
guys.
sitting here too.
I technically did bring it to you guys, but just never took it.
Just never.
Kitty.
What did she say?
She said, "Be careful using Google, Robyn."
I know, right?
I like Josh.
What did he
As
say?
the conversation hit together earlier, I would think twice about Slave for a Day.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I guess it depends on what you want.
My lovely assistant's going to reach. Oh, before she reaches into there, we got to do some trivia. What kind of trivia question?
Something
should we be doing?
easy.
Something easy. Let me go get a card.
That would be, well, my ex-wife's name is April, so that's easy. Trust me. Just ask my old business partner.
You did not just say my ex-wife is easy.
Seriously, honey.
I'm looking.
You don't have a question ready.
I don't. Who is called the friendly ghost?
Casper.
Really? You are an idiot.
Oh, that's for them.
This is for them. All right. New question.
I thought it was between her and all.
Thank you, Robyn.
You have no idea what he's trying to do to my hand right now. I'm just saying. Stop. Stop.
It's a preview for later.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Okay. Okay, for you guys out there, and Jason, don't answer this question. Whoever answers this first and comes up on our chat first, that's our chat. Might not be your chat, but our chat will get the opportunity to go into the barter bin. Who was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
Oh,
Oh, I don't know this one.
True or false? The Bible Belt is a fashion accessory.
That is not the question.
Yep, there it is.
Freaky Geek.
Say a car.
Yep, car.
So Freaky Deek got the opportunity to reach into the barter bin. Now, the barter bin has many things in here that you can barter during an SHTF situation or just any random situation. And there's good things in here and there's some bad things in here. So, something good.
Tanya said false.
I can't believe I'm reading this stupid woman stuff. Whose article it was.
It's very weird.
Is there a hole in the bottom of that bucket?
Seriously, choose something else.
Okay. Seriously.
Okay, that'll work. All right, she picked out Gear Snake. Cut the link.
Okay, we're just
She picked out his Gear Snake.
not too long after we searched how to raise wieners. Just saying.
She picked out Gear Snake. Cut to length, twist tie wire. And so what you could do is take this and it's foamy twist tie wire, just like you would have on your thread, but it's only bigger and longer. So strong and durable, flexible plastic covered steel wire, bend to twist and it holds its shape. Perfect for attaching gear and equipment together. No knots to tie or hooks to slip. Easier than rope, won't rust, slip, or stretch. Simply cut the length with scissors or knife. And so,
Yes, she said sweet. That will come in handy to stake up plants.
sweet. Just send me an email. That's put my email address up there.
What is it?
BreakAwayHomesteader@gmail.com.
And he'll send you his snake.
Send you a gear snake that Megan touched.
Oh, damn it. I spelled it wrong.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. It said, there we go.
Right.
Thank you, Kitty. I'm not even drinking.
Water. H2O water.
Water.
So, yeah.
But yeah, I hope you guys had fun tonight.
Oh, we're not leaving.
It's the end of this.
You can keep going. I'm going to go smoke. I'll come back, but I'm going to go smoke.
What were you saying until we got some election finals?
Oh, I didn't even look at the
Do we
election.
have any? I mean,
you know, I've been watching that state of Texas go back and forth from red to blue.
yeah.
I hope.
Georgia's still teetering. There's only 53% reported, so it's still 54-44.
I hope for the state of Texas that it stays red.
I'll be honest with you. I'm nervous if that crazy woman gets in the office.
Pelosi?
No.
I ain't worried about
Abrams
Pelosi.
here.
Oh. All right. I really wish you'd stop playing commercials. I hate news channels these days. All they do is play commercials. I don't care about the new Mitsubishi Jolt of Adventure, Outlander, and that it's electric. Hey, folks, I don't know if you noticed, but electric cars are probably more pollutant than regular cars.
Really?
Yeah, electricity, burning coal. Electricity comes from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Later, Josh. You're going to enjoy Frontier, man. That is a great show.
So, yeah, Senate race. You got to have 51 votes in order to win the Senate over. Republicans are sitting at 50, and Democrats are sitting at 40.
Yep.
So one more vote, and they'll have the
Senate.
House race right now. Democrats are at 108. Republicans are at 118. They're actually beating the Democrats. And there's 218 more seats that are voted for. That we'll see what happens.
Robyn had different numbers.
Yeah, the probability they got the probability calendars up. Democrats are expected to take the House, and Republicans are expected to take the Senate.
Yeah. Cruz has the lead by 2 points for Texas, according to Kitty.
Well, I hope Cruz keeps it, but I'm not a big Cruz fan, to be honest with you.
I'll tell you, when he was running for president, I took Carol to Winter Jam, which is like
Cruz got Texas. Cruz defeats O'Rourke in Texas. I just got that breaking news.
Oh, that's good.
It's dying.
But when we went to that, he was there, and he was running on that whole Christian platform.
Yeah,
and I really wasn't.
I got the Republicans winning the House right now.
And I really didn't.
Here, 122 to 111. Sorry, go ahead.
But I really wasn't impressed with his Christian.
He tried to come up as a goody boy, like I'm full American, red-blooded American, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Jeb Bush looked better than him at that point.
The Republicans need 3 seats in the Senate to win the majority of the Senate.
They're actually at one more.
Where are you?
One more to get the majority. They're at 50-40 right now.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Where are you looking?
So
CNN. They have.
I'm on
for the House, I got the Republican Party at 118 and the Democratic Party at 103.
I don't know. I have. What source are you on?
I'm on FoxNews.com.
Okay.
Oh,
CNN. According to CNN, we're locked at 131 for both Democrats and Republicans right now.
yeah. Cruz defeats O'Rourke, holds on to Texas Senate seat after a hard-fought race.
Yeah, Texas is going red. Looks like they're gonna. So far, they're calling Georgia red.
Yeah.
So far.
Mitt Romney stayed in Utah. He won in Utah.
What about Vermont?
I'm looking.
Because that was Sanders. Yeah, he's got Vermont.
Sanders got it.
Yeah. So
it's funny to me because it's looking like the midterm, looking like the presidential race here. We all thought Clinton was going to win, everything like that, and they're still predicting the Democrats to take the House, but we're currently still ahead on votes.
yeah.
So there's 218 more seats to fill, and so we'll find out if Republicans gain control of both the Senate and the House. It's game on for the American dream. I hate to say it like that. I know there's some Democrats that don't think that's the case, but
No, I agree.
I think we'll have a lot more freedoms to do the things we want to do.
South Carolina, they're not calling yet, I don't think.
No, it's called South Carolina or North Carolina.
South Carolina is kind of back and forth. It looks like it's red and blue. So, governor for South Carolina is red. So, who is that? South Carolina governor.
So the entire Northeast has gone Democrat.
Yeah.
I mean, all the way from Virginia all the way north.
Which I'm really not surprised.
Not surprised about that.
No. I have a lot of family up in Pennsylvania, and they tend to be more towards the blue than the red.
So they got Florida highlighted pink, as in the Republicans are winning.
Mm-hmm.
And where else?
One of the things that bothers me, and it showed in this midterm election, is a lot of people were blindly voting Republican and blindly voting Democrat.
Right.
And we have gotten to such a divide in this country that that's just the way that it is now.
Right.
There's nobody that's middle ground that everybody can relate to. I don't relate 1,000% with the Republican Party. I don't relate 20% with the Democratic Party the way that they are right now. But there are some of my beliefs and some of my views that people would say would be more Democratic than Republican.
Right.
And the problem is I don't look at the person to whether or not they have a D or an R beside their name. Like, I voted for my wife twice.
Person and their values and everything like that.
Yeah.
I voted for my wife twice
I voted for one Democrat during this race because I physically spoke with her and I laid down the law. I was like, look, in this situation, she was a judge. And I was like, in this situation, how are you going to react to this? Or so on and so forth. And she was fair down the line. Any judge that was not in any party, that if parties didn't exist,
right,
it would be just like this. And so I told her, I said, look, I normally don't do this, but I want to let you know I'm going to. And I told her, I said, I'm going to vote for you. And she was and I don't want to try to sound racist on it. She was a black female judge, and she convinced me that she'd be better for this position because of her experience. And the other guy was a Republican. He had 10 years experience, and I was just like, you don't just hop on board because you get that R by your name. You're the only candidate.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we had a similar experience when we lived in Grovetown. And I don't know about a lot of local towns might do this, but during 4th of July, they have a big barbecue, and it's always during election year. It's a big thing for them to show up to these things and kind of shake hands and talk to people. And we had one come up. He was running for representative, and he started shaking hands and asking us to vote for him. And Jason asked him a bunch of questions. And one of the questions was about...
I asked him 3 questions.
Yeah.
I said, what is your stance on homeschool? And he said,
as long as they're getting educated.
As long as they're getting educated, I don't care.
I don't care.
Right.
Okay.
And I said, well, what is your stance on foothold traps? And he says, don't we already have laws about those? Not what I'm asking you, homie. And then my third question is, what's your stance on being able to sell raw milk in the state of Georgia? Because back then, those were pretty much the hot topics
around our area.
Yeah,
it's a pretty big deal.
PETA came in and they were doing a big thing trying to get rid of the foothold traps, and they busted up my truck, and and then back then in the state of Georgia, we had to dye our raw milk gray
and label it for pet consumption.
For pet consumption only to be able to sell it.
And you had to have
Why do you dye it gray?
to stop people from drinking it.
What dye do you put into it?
I don't know.
I don't know. We never did it.
Yeah, we never. Yeah, but it had to be dyed a certain color or whatever. But
we were like the Duke boys of raw milk around Grovetown, Augusta.
We used to just keep it in mason jars.
Big ass milk truck.
Yeah. We keep it in mason jars in the fridge, and then people would come by and we're like, we're going to install a safety bump in the middle of our kitchen. You're going to trip and fall. And when you trip and fall, you're going to get up and you're going to be just a little delirious. And some of your money is going to fall out of your purse. And you're going to go for a glass of water in the fridge. But instead, you're going to grab a quart jar of milk and you're going to leave and forget your money. So everything's good to go.
It got to the point. I make that joke about us being the Duke boys. But I had conversations with my dad to take my old Camaro that he still has, making the trunk a cooler.
Mm-hmm.
So that way I could.
Because we were producing like 5-6 gallons of milk a day.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a full-blooded Holstein, and she was heavy milker. And so we were getting like 3 gallons of milk twice a day. So we had way too much milk. And that was back before we knew that we could fatten up pigs with raw milk, because you can really do some damage with some pigs when you got a couple of cows in milk. But we asked all those questions, and we weren't really impressed with his answers. And so when he ran, we went to vote, and we did not vote for him, even though he was the Republican candidate. Then 2 years later, he was endorsing who is now our agriculture guy, and we asked him some questions, and he had answers, and the answers he didn't have, he said, give me until Monday and I will email you what I find out.
And that's what you say when you don't know the answers.
And he was totally different.
But I will find out.
Yeah, and that's what he did. So all that to get around to today, Jason and I went to go vote, and I'm going through voting, and his name popped up because he had gotten out of the House to run for some other position and lost. And so he backed off and went back into agriculture for a little while. So I thought that that's all he was doing at this point. So I go into doing my voting, and his name popped up that he was like the incumbent. And I'm like, how did I miss this? That he was, I don't remember his name at the last election. And so I just like, you're not really supposed to do anything when you're in there. You're not supposed to talk or anything like that. And I saw his name, and I had this uncontrollable giggle. Like, I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then Jason was standing beside me, and he heard me and kind of looked. And I'm like, God, I should not be talking. Be quiet, Robyn, vote. And then he said later he was looking going, what is she laughing at? And then he went to the next page and saw his name. And he was like, in good conscience, even though nobody was running against him, he was the incumbent and there was no challenge. We still both did not vote for him because of something he said like 8 years ago.
I wrote in my wife's name.
Yeah, that's the thing is when you talk to somebody and you get an idea of who they are and the stances that they have, he was all about whoever was writing the check. Yep. And he got busted for it. And that's why he kind of got out of it for a little while. Because I think he ran for Senate. He was in the House of Representatives. And then he ran for Senate. And they did all of this digging. And they found out that he was in bed with the power company. And yeah. And so that was the end of all that. And he lost and whoever won. And he just kind of disappeared for a little while. And then I guess he just waited for everything to kind of clear. And then he came back in. And I didn't even know that he had started back again. But
yeah, I voted for my wife twice tonight.
Yep. Yeah, sure did.
But see, I'm that way. If I'm not, just because you ain't running against anybody doesn't mean I'm blindly pushing your button.
Exactly. Doesn't mean you deserve the vote.
Right.
Nope.
Exactly.
That's why they have that write-in.
Well, and then what kills me is there are some people
that don't have the write-in. You still don't have to vote for them. And in your conscience, you can say consciously say, "Look, I did not vote for this person, even though he was the only person in there, because A, B, and C."
Well,
so
what I think is crazy is, they have when you go to sign in, they have an area for you to block off, I just want a Republican ballot or I just want a Democratic ballot. Like, I've never chosen that before. Like, you just going to blindly go in and just choose all the Republicans? Like, how does that work? I guess that's how it works. But that, to me, it blows my mind that we're going to vote based on party or by sex or by color. I think it's the craziest thing. It drives me nuts.
That's how Obama got elected. Now, granted, he had on his platform now, he had some things that I liked.
I will say when he ran
election,
his very first election, had Hillary Clinton won that primary, I would have voted for Hillary Clinton back at that time. That was before she was really wicked crazy.
Right.
But Obama got it, and his game was so good. Oh, I loved hearing the man talk.
Yes.
And it was great. I voted for Barack Obama. And 4 years later, I'm like, Mitt Romney.
Yeah. But that was a lesser of two evils in that case to me.
That's the case too as well.
Yeah.
And but yeah. And then it was 2 months ago, or it was a month ago or 2 months ago, when Barack Obama came back out, he publicly spoke for the first time since he left the presidency. And he was in Chicago, of all places, the friendliest city in the world with no gun violence whatsoever.
Yeah.
And he opened his mouth and read everything that was on the teleprompter. And I think about halfway through, he realized that the crap that was coming out of his mouth was not real.
Right.
And he took credit for everything that's happened in this country in the past 2 years, because he said he because of the 8 years that he took, these 2 years are profitable because of the 8 years he took in office. And it was, I don't care who you are, no president should downgrade another president.
No.
At all.
It's just not good. It's just not good manners. Like, you don't need to be up there doing that. Everybody either knows. I mean, it's no different than we were watching football this past weekend with our son. Blaze really likes football, even though he's never played a lick of it ever. He loves to watch football, and there's all of these crazy calls nowadays. All these different penalties that were not around back when we were all watching football as kids. Right. And so Blaze said Jason said to Blaze, he's like, let me show you what football really is supposed to look like.
It was pretty violent too, back in the day. Well, they didn't have the padding and they didn't have anything like that. And they got violent on the field. That's how they blew steam.
Right.
Yeah. It popped up on YouTube, like some of the most violent fights in the NFL. And it was all of these snowflake football players getting their panties in a knot because the quarterback went to slide. Well, me growing up, middle linebacker, quarterback slides, I still got 2 steps to take his lunch.
Yeah.
You know? And they're getting in all these fights. And Blaze is like, man, that's a cheap shot. I said, no, he's got 2 steps.
Mm-hmm.
And Blaze is like, no.
Not anymore.
I said, let me show you what my football was like.
Look at Lawrence Taylor. Look at, And
I pulled up the old NFL films on YouTube. I pulled up the Hidden NFL and the Crunch Course.
Yeah.
And I said, if this doesn't make something move in your pants while you're watching it, you need to go and hang out with Bruce Jenner and figure out the path that he took.
But yeah, so, what I was getting, I don't even know where I was going with that. There was some point that I had, and it's gone now. But we were talking about good manners. The difference is between, having good etiquette. Even in football, back when they would get rough with each other on the field, it was still just the sport.
Plus, they left it on the field. They didn't.
Right. Yeah. When somebody got hurt, they were just as concerned to make sure that guy got back up. They weren't in his face screaming at him over top of him, kicking him, the way that they do stuff now. And it was a totally different, at the end of the day, they were still gentlemen. And it's kind of this should be the same with that highest rank of authority in our government. It seems like that should be, you just have to have a little bit of decorum, and going around talking about how bad somebody else was is just not good etiquette in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, the Lawrence Taylors, the Greens,
even when Elway, they
Refrigerator Perry, Peyton, all these guys played with raw emotion, but they never put their hands on a referee.
No, and now that stuff happens a lot, apparently. Like, we don't watch NFL for its own reason, but apparently there's a lot of NFL players that end up putting their hands on a ref, and that hardly ever happened back in the day.
And that's what I told Blaze. I said, look, there's a difference between being a thug playing football, because that's all these goobers are. They're glorified gangbangers wearing helmets and pads because they're snatching each other's gold chains off and stealing them, versus being a violent gentleman.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what the Howley Longs were. They were violent gentlemen. Howley Long would ring your bell. He would do his best to break your spine if you had a hold of that football.
And then when he did break your spine, he would pick you up.
He would come to the hospital and visit you, talking about, man, my bad.
I didn't mean to break your spine.
I didn't mean to break your spine.
I didn't mean to.
Oh, I did, but not on the field.
Yeah. Awesome. But totally different. Just the behavior is just.
It was a game.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a sport.
Right. And to me, we should expect more of some of the, it bothers me every time we get around to election season. Instead of talking about the actual issues, all we want to do is talk about
the person
and what. And I get that a little of it is credibility and character. I get that. But at the end of the day, if it's somebody who's been a politician, you can pull their history on what they voted on. Yeah. You can do the homework and figure it out. And
sorry, go ahead.
Problem. Well, that's the problem. We don't do that anymore. We rely on the news and on the commercials and Facebook to tell us what we're supposed to vote for.
One thing I like about North Carolina here is before the elections start, before the early elections start, the early voting, they'll send pamphlets out in everybody's mailbox and gives you a history of all the candidates.
That's nice.
And it's just a simple little booklet. On the left side will be your Democratic vote. If there's more than one, it'll be on the next page, but it'll tell Democratic, Republican. It'll give you a history of their education, where they've been, what they've done, and any actual criminal things they may have on their record.
Right. Yeah.
And so what I do is beforehand, my wife and I, we sat down and looked at it and go, this person, this person, this person, this person, this person. Well, why did you choose this person? Because this, and this. And then that's what we did. We chose from there.
Yeah. Well, I was telling Jason at work, they actually, there was a Facebook picture going around that talked about both of our gubernatorial candidates and how they stood on sanctuary cities and abortion and all this other stuff. And everybody in my office was taking that for gospel because it was on Facebook. It had to be true. I was like, have you guys verified any of this? Like, did you check to make sure that that's exactly what his stand is on that or what her stand is? And it never occurred to them to verify any of that. It was, well, you know what? Somebody made this meme, so it has to be true. And it just, that's what's wrong with, and that's the thing. I'm proud of my son, but he posted today on Instagram, and it's an old John Mayer song. And he put on there, what are you looking at?
My son just texted me.
Uh-oh, what did he say? Speaking of which, his ears must be burning. But he quoted a John Mayer song, and he said, one day our generation is going to rule the population. That scares the crap out of me because he is just the back end of that millennial group.
Yeah.
And for the most part, the people that I work with, they're also in that age group. And they see something on the internet and they only got one source and that's enough. They don't verify anything. And that scares me because that's what's coming. And they're going to be the ones that rule the population. And that just scares the crap out of me.
And we'll be sitting there in our diapers going, back in my day.
Exactly.
Boy, any new updates? It's a House race right now. Republicans are 138 to 130 seats.
That's not a good idea. He won't be able to. Wait. No, tomorrow is his day off. Right? Yeah, Monday, Tuesday.
Will you stop?
I'm just thinking out loud. I'm sorry. Anyway. What did she say? That's a great rule to live by until they tell you you're not allowed to do it anymore because the man says so. Barter, trade, and build. Yeah, I mean, and that's the problem is one day they're going to figure out how to tax bartering.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
I mean, they're going to figure that out. They're going to figure out a way. I mean.
No, they won't. That's just like that paper towel smoke and screen that they want to try to pull out of their butts about gun control. This Abrams lady, she wants to say that she wants to support universal background checks for private ownership. That's not going to end any of the gun violence that we have here in this country.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, cash is king.
Mm-hmm.
And so if somebody comes up to you and says, look, I know you're only asking 2, but I don't want to do that background check thing. I'm going to give you 3. They're going to sell the gun.
Yeah.
Or they're going to make that private owner have to pay to run the background check, and they're not going to want to pay it.
Right.
So they're going to look at him and say, you pay me in cash and I'm not doing a background check.
Yeah.
And then it's proof. How do you prove that he bought it from so-and-so?
Right.
So all you're doing is making it harder for people that are actually following the law.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way that they're going to be able to tax barter, because when it comes down to it, if you're coming over to me with a dozen eggs and I'm giving you, a cup of honey,
Right.
prove you got it from me and prove you gave that to me.
Yeah. Looking at these results from the house seats, and I'm telling you, they're split right down the middle.
They are. They're right down the middle.
So I'm looking at North Carolina, and my folks, the state stayed red. Both seats got red or Republican candidates, but the difference between Republican and Democrat is like 49% and 48%, 52, 45%. And
I've got CNN saying both Democrats and Republicans are both holding 146 seats right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna laugh if the Republicans actually take the House.
It would be nice.
Chocolate cake.
Yep.
Oh, she's eating chocolate cake.
So he's gonna have. You're eating chocolate cake.
Yep.
So I don't know if you guys got Aldi. You guys have Aldi's down there?
Yes.
They had this particular chocolate cake.
It's a chocolate cream bundt cake.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Sinful.
Have you ever had the German, like they have like a German brandy cake? It comes in a small little loaf. Like you have to look over in the areas where they have all the German food. Mm-hmm. But they have like a spiced rum, Jamaican spiced rum cake or something. And then there's a black cordial cherry cake. And it's just a small, it's just a little log. It's not a whole lot. But oh my goodness gracious. It is fantastic.
We have been really, really enjoying that store. Mm-hmm. Their tikka masala is freaking really good. The sauce for their tikka masala is really good. Their naan is really good. Yeah. We've been eating more Indian food lately than any other thing.
Well, one of the things I like about Aldi is, one, their prices.
Yeah. Yes, the prices are great.
Reasonable.
And two, they support sustainability.
Yes, they do. I get my coffee pods from them, and the coffee pods themselves are clear, but the filters on the inside, they're not made of paper. They're made of a natural fiber, and the pods just pop right out, so you can use the cup for planting seeds or doing whatever.
Right.
Okay, have fun. I love you.
Bye. I'm going to bed.
Bye. Go to bed. I'm gonna have to jump off too in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's worth because see, our closest Aldi is like 35 miles away, but it's absolutely worth it because we can get produce super. Like if we're like right now, we're kind of in a season where we don't really have a whole lot growing, or producing, not really growing. But like zucchini, we can get zucchini at $1.19 a pound.
Yeah.
And we load up on that and make zoodles and put them in the freezer. Mushrooms. Sometimes mushrooms will go on sale for like 79 cents.
Pineapples go on sale there. Yeah, when stupid awesome.
When pineapples go on, they're like $1.29. Sometimes.
Yeah, we've been eating pineapples like crazy for the past.
Yeah, well, they were at. Remember when they were like 88 cents that one time when we filled up the.
We got a big. You know how they have the big boxes that they actually put them in on the racks.
Yeah.
We grabbed a full box of them and put them in the buggy.
Yeah, we didn't know this yet, but we're gonna be getting a freeze dryer one day.
We have a dehydrator and we dehydrated, and the house smelled like pineapple for 2 weeks.
I'm sure it was wonderful.
It was. Yes. It was really nice.
Okay, well, like Fox News is calling that the Republicans won the Senate at 50 plus 2.
50 plus 2.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, well, the thing about I don't know if you've seen the harvest right or not. The issue about having a home freeze dryer is the oil it takes to run this compressor. And you have to filter it every single time, everything like that. Well, Harvest Right just came out with an oilless compressor.
Okay.
Which makes it so much better that you don't have to do this anymore. So it makes it quicker, actually, as far as having to reset because the process takes 24 hours to 48 hours, depending on what you freeze dry. So, yeah, but pineapple, freeze-dried pineapple is the bomb.
Now, when it says plus 15, does that mean they flipped 15 seats?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm
going to end up joining my wife here very shortly, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and log off with y'all.
I agree. It's time to go to bed.
I'm tired.
Wake up in the morning and see what it's like.
Well, thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate you guys joining us tonight. We really didn't have a subject, so I thought it'd be fun to get on together and have a little chat session.
Definitely. It was fun.
And then we'll have to get together for real sometime.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Definitely.
All right. Well, we love you guys, and we love everybody out there that's sitting in the chat room. Remember to love your neighbors and treat each other with kindness. And as Jason would say, reduce, reuse, recycle.
That's it.
And we'll see what happens in the morning. And we will see you guys next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the BreakAway Homestead channel. I'm the BreakAway Homesteader, Jason and Robyn from
the Big Bear Homestead.
You guys have a good night.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.